Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and since it's Women's History Month, I'm here today to talk to you about Person of Interest Season 3, Episode 5, razgovor? I have no idea what that word even means. But this is an extremely good episode. It's an episode that mainly revolves around Agent Shaw. I love Agent Shaw. She is phenomenal in this series. The actress was in Black Adam as the mother. You know, I always wanted her to play Wonder Woman. If you ever watch this show and see her in this show, you'll know why. But she's so short, she'll never be able to play Wonder Woman and stuff. This also has a B story with Agent Detective Carter and stuff. And so, but it mostly revolves around Shaw. Now, this show came out a couple of years back. I think I might have been, I don't know if I was in college or not. I can't remember how long it's been, but it's been a good while. It lasted for 5 seasons. Season 3, okay, this came out in 2013, so I was not in college. So this episode came out in 2000, no, not 2003, 2013. So I was not in college because in 2003 I was. But whatchamacallem. So it's like, you know, this lasted for 5 seasons. Season 3 is my favorite. Season 5 is like my second like highest favorite like season. Season 2 is okay once Shaw shows up, and then it gets a whole lot better. Season 1 is kind of boring, and season 4 is dismal because it was just a huge letdown and stuff. The show is created by Jonathan Nolan, who I believe is Christopher Nolan's brother. I think it's also made by J.J. Abrams, I believe. And so, like, this show is phenomenal. It's about a man named Howard who is super mysterious, who creates a machine that spies on everyone through their cell phones, computers, surveillance cameras, you name it. Because he wants to stop every threat that's going to happen in, like, New York and stuff, because of something tragic that happened to him. And so because of that, he needs some people to do like the fighting and stuff. So he finds this ex-military guy named John who's about to take his own life and gives him a better purpose. They later recruit Shaw in season 2, and then they recruit, I think his name is Howard, Detective Howard, but he doesn't know about the computer thing. And then Agent Carter, who is kind of recruited, she doesn't know about the machine as well. And then they eventually get this cyber terrorist named Root, who turns out to be a bad person, but later on a good person and stuff. And then they just, you know, try to stop like all these crimes and espionage and stuff like that that's happening in New York City. I haven't watched this show in a good while. I have 3, 5, and 2 seasons on DVD. Because of streaming, I just been like, haven't been able to watch any of my DVDs and stuff. This is on HBO Max, but you can watch it free on Freevee and stuff. I'm actually kind of shocked that it's on like a free like site to watch, because this is a really popular show back in the day. Sadly, however, this show has some controversial stars in it. Tahaji P. Hudson, or Henson, I believe her name is, whatever. She's still a good person. It's just that she supports Josie Smollett, who tried to start that race war and everything a few years back, and talking about how like he was just confused and he shouldn't be in jail. Yeah, he should, because when he made false accusations about these 2 people of race, what if the cops would have found like 2 random people and shot them? Then he would have been responsible for that huge lie he told and stuff. Then there is the main star named Jim. I forget his last name. Jim, I can't even pronounce his last name, who plays John Reese on the show. This dude used to be okay, kept to himself, until he made a very disturbing speech at a cult. And I'm not for cults whatsoever, and especially this one. And this has made people now wonder and question him and everything. And it really makes you wonder who would ever go to a cult meeting and give a huge speech where it's recorded for the whole world to see. And it was a disturbing one as well. So because of that, it is hard to watch this show, especially because this dude has this really scoury, mean, grumpy, broody looking face on him all the time on the show. So it makes you wonder just how evil this man is in real life. And it sucks because I own this on DVD and I really love this show, but it's hard to like. I can dissociate a character from an actor, but I can't dissociate their face because their face is that actual person who's playing that role and stuff, and it just makes it hard to want to watch this show and knowing that this man is probably evil in real life. Now, I don't know if he's part of the cult, but he gave a speech at it. Why in the world would you give us? And he knew exactly what kind of cult this was, too. Everybody in America knows what kind of cult this is and stuff. Whatever. And so, like, with this episode, we get to finally get some backstory into Shaw. Shameen Shaw is a very unique and interesting character. She was once like a special like black ops type person till she got recruited, and she's a person who loves to kill folks, like just bad people. She hates terrorists and stuff like that. She hates people who do bad things. So she was right for like, you know, the machine like club or whatever they call themselves. And so like, because she gets to take out as many bad guys as she wants, she gets paid for it. But you know, just like John Reese, she's very skeptical and very suspicious of Howard. Nobody knows anything about Howard. She's tried following him. It doesn't work because he's very good at eluding like cameras and like surveillance and stuff. So she puts a bug in his little library place, his little headquarters. And so the thing about her, she has a really huge temper. She's also doesn't particularly care for people. She has like this off switch, or this on off switch that's completely off of emotion. She is very emotionless. Think of her as a cross between a Vulcan and a Klingon. It's like she has no emotion, but she has all this pent up rage and stuff. And she rarely lets people into her heart. The only people she normally lets in, it could be like a love interest. But then like with this one dude, and somewhat Root, because Root's always flirting with her and stuff. But in this episode, she actually lets a little girl into her heart. See, the machine picked up a number. It always picks up like a social security number, stuff like that. But this number is an immigration number from a girl from another country. And she's like a little 9-year-old girl. And for whatever reason, the machine does not tell you if a person is good or bad. So they have to figure out clues if this person is good or bad and who wants to harm this person or what kind of harm this person wants to do to other people. So with this incident, somebody wants to do harm to this little girl. So she pretends to be part of immigration and wants to talk to this girl, but this girl is very intelligent, very wise. And so when she talks to like Shaw at some point, because like first the girl grills Shaw and Shaw has to grill her, and then Shaw is very surprised by how intelligent this girl is, especially by how dumb her third cousin is, who's just doing drugs on the table in front of the girl. And so they live in a crappy like apartment in a bad part of town. And so like as the girl's going into school and everything, she likes to look at the mirrors of like a store, like the windows of a store, to get the reflection of people who might be following her. And she actually almost made Shaw within a couple of seconds. So Shaw had to like duck out and stuff. So Shaw is very impressed, but then the bad guys come and they try to kidnap her. Shaw like handles the dude and then she takes the girl. So they go to like they run to like an abandoned back to her apartment building, and then they go and down to like kind of like the sewer system a little bit into like a hidden compartment in like the walls of the like building. And so, like, they go into the hidden compartment because that's the girl's Jen, whose real name Jenna Nova, and but she calls herself Jen. That's her hideout. And apparently now Shaw knows why these bad people are after her. It's because this girl thinks she wants to be a spy when she grows up. So she spies on everybody in her apartment. She takes pictures and she records them with audio, but she used the old-fashioned method of like tape recorders and wires. So she overheard some like the cops and the Russians talking about drugs. And so like they found her wires and then they cut them and they found her little hideout. So they know where it's at. So they try to snuff her out. So Shaw has to protect this girl. And Shaw goes beyond the belief to try to protect this girl. When Shaw is shot and they use nerve gas on them or knockout gas and everything, they take the girl and Shaw is put in the trunk of a car. And so when she frees herself, she like calls Howard and all this, and John finds like blood, and they want Shaw to get to the hospital because she's losing a lot and a lot and a lot of blood, but she refuses to go. When she finds drugs on like one of the bad dudes, she realizes it's the same kind as Jen's cousin. So she goes back and turns out he ratted her out because he said basically when they found like the wires and always spying on people and stuff, they got pissed and they went after him, but instead they spared his life for like the girl and also gave him some of their drugs. And so he could care less about what happens to him. So before Shaw leaves and everything, she puts him through the table. And so let's go to the other people at this point. So Agent Carter, she has been benched and has been made into a street cop. She used to be a detective. And so because she's been investigating HR. HR is like this department within her police force that is corrupt, that goes all the way to like the government and the mayor and stuff. They have ties to like drug dealers and gangsters and stuff like that. One of the gangsters, drug dealers, are the Russians in New York. And so they decided instead of being enemies within each other, they're going to start being friends and start selling their drugs together. So she's been investigating a lot of the crooked cops, like Simmons and Turney. Well, her new partner she's given, Howard is not that dude's name. Lionel Fusco is her old partner, but he's not in this episode. But she's given a new one, Lansky and everything. And so he's been hired by HR to follow her because she's always going on these secret meetings and phone calls and stuff like that. And so as she's taking pictures and investigating, apparently her plot intertwines with the plot of Jen and everything. So it turns out that Simmons and Turney, they've hired the Russians to make this very special type of drug. Basically, they stole the chemical that can use to cut the drugs that they have and stuff like that. And it really messes people up. It gave this one dude the symptoms of paralysis and stuff. So after some interrogations and stuff, they realize they're gonna have to get the girl back. So they decide they're just gonna trade the tapes in for the girl. And so they trick HR into thinking they're gonna ambush them and this and that because Lansky gave them some bad intel. But instead, Shaw, she has a plan of her own. She is not going to take down a bunch of dirty cops. She just wants the girl back. And so she does this really cool thing. Like with the Russian head dude, she goes to the place where he lives at, made a frank, a fake 911 call saying somebody's having a heart attack just so she can steal some equipment. She steals some things that can knock people out. Type of medicine they give them, and she just takes 2 syringes and needles and injects it into 2 of the guards. It's so cool. Then she takes down their leader, but she wants to know everything about his blood and everything, like has he had AIDS, HIV, unprotected sex, stuff like that. And it's kind of like, where is she getting with this? Because she needs blood and she wants his blood. Doesn't matter who blood she has and everything, because she's one of those universal recipients and stuff. So she gets the blood transfusion that she needs, and she's back all healthy and she's ready to kick some butt. After, like, he tells her where the girl's at and stuff like that, she goes and she rescues Jen in a very cool shoot 'em out kind of way. Now, how is she so good at, like, medical, you're probably wondering. Well, remember when I said we finally get some backstory on her? Well, we see her many years ago in 1993, and she's in a car wreck with her father. Her father is dead on the scene, and she's trapped in the car along with him. She has no idea he is dead. The paramedics get her out, and she tells them, that he's military. They move around. All she does is watch football with him, and so they tell her that, like, your father died. So she just looks at the paramedic and she just has a blank look on her face, and then she just has a normal look on her face, and she's all like, I'm hungry, I want a sandwich to eat. And so it's kind of like the paramedic is very shocked by this. He just gave this girl some very traumatic news. Well, this was the moment she turned her emotions off and everything. Or at least that's what we're led to believe, that instead of dealing with pain and grief and loving somebody, if you just shut everything off, then you'll be like better at what you are as a person. And so she literally tells Jen, like, all those emotions and this and that, I don't get that. I don't flinch. I don't get scared. Nothing like that. Then it finds out in another future episode that she became a doctor and a surgeon. She's the type of person that would go beyond belief to try to, like, save a person's life on the surgical table. And then when she told the family that we lost, like, your husband and stuff and your father, she tells them with a very Vulcan kind of way with no emotions. And so because of that, she lost her job. They told her she's very good at what she does, but she lacks empathy and everything. So because of that, she became like a secret, like, agent and everything, where she can just kill people and not feel bad. And so because of this, Howard sets up, like, Jen at, like, this private school and this and that. And Jen gives her grandfather's, like, medal. And because her mom, excuse me, her mom is, like, in prison for protesting in another country, and her dad is dead, I think, and grandfather's dead and stuff like that. And so first Shaw told her you can sell that for a lot of money, and Jen tells her, like, what's wrong with you and everything? Like, this is sentimental and everything. So she gives it to Shaw, and she tells her, don't sell it. But then she tells her, I don't think you don't have emotions. I think you do, but they're just, like, buried deep down inside of you. And Shaw does something she never done before. She gave her, like, a hug. But she gives her a very awkward hug because she's not used to hugging people, and she hugs her a little too tight. And so, like, back with Carter, because now that storyline's in it, back with Carter, her and Lansky aren't getting along. He sets up a meeting with her to meet him at, like, a bar to have a drink, trying to be copacetic and everything. And there's a guy named Jerry who's the bartender. But, Carter, she ain't stupid. She tells Lansky she's been on to him since, like, they first, like, became partners. She knows he's working for HR, and she knows Jerry is also a cop who used to shake down hookers and everything. So Jerry tries to kill her, and she shoots him. And Lansky's all like, you're going down for this. And she's like, because I used your gun to, like, kill him with it. And HR is going to think you screwed up majorly with first giving them bad intel, not keeping a close eye on me, and now killing one of their own members and stuff. So basically, because of that, he becomes her whipping boy. She works for him now, and he's gonna be a double agent and tell her everything he knows about HR. Now, when it comes to Carter, she was an awesome character. But just to spoil something for you, because I don't know whenever I'm going to talk about this entire series in a whole, they got rid of her at the end of this season. They killed her character, and this came to a big shock to fans. And probably, I don't even know if she asked to leave. I don't know if they had bad blood on behind the scenes of the show. I don't know. It's never been revealed. Nobody ever talks about this show, not even the people that was on this show. It's like, it makes you now wonder with the lead actor giving that speech at like a cult and everything. But like, because there was two endings filmed. It was either her or Fesco that was supposed to die, and they filmed both because I had the DVD and I saw it. And but they chose to like get rid of her. So it does make you wonder why her of all people, and because she's the only black star on that show. So it really makes you wonder why she left, why they got rid of her, and this and that. Now after this show, she went on to star in Empire until that later on got canceled a couple of seasons down the road on Fox. Then she starred in a bunch of movies. But yeah, this is a great show to watch. It's like really, really, really mysterious and spy oriented, and like, it's really hard hitting. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.